Send the Thrifting Diva. And we're going to try this again because I just tried going live and the internet said, no, you're not. So let's see if it's working this time, because we're going to, I really want to talk about this topic, that dark side of thrifting that I don't think a lot of people talk about much. And as I'm looking on, searching online, excuse me, you see all the thrift hauls, you see why you should thrift, you see what's the best thing about thrifting. But the one thing we're not really seeing is there's a dark side to thrifting. There's absolutely a dark side. And for most people, that, when it catches up with you, it catches up with you. So let me just make sure that I am actually coming across, or else I'm going to just be talking to myself as usual. But if you are, let's see. I think my internet is really acting up right now everywhere. So if you're hearing me and seeing me, let me know in the comments, because it's definitely showing that I'm not having any internet here right now. Hopefully it doesn't affect the live again because the first one came off. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's jump into this topic and let me know if this is something that resonates with you. And let me explain. I thrift. I look at my closet. Let me show you my closet real quick. Look at that. Look at the shoes. I mean, everywhere. There's clothes there, there's clothes. I thrift. Thrifting is part of the lifestyle, the brand, it's a lifestyle for me. On this channel, I talk about a luxe lifestyle, and that literally includes thrifting. It includes making sure that, we are putting our money in the right places. And for me, that's definitely a thrifting. Thrift is that part of it. Okay. 90% of my clothes is thrifted. 90% of my shoes is thrifted. I am not ashamed of it. Hey, Cameron Anderson, thank you so much, and I appreciate the sub. But what I'm going to talk about today is the fact that thrifting, there's a dark side to that. And I think for most of us, especially for most of the, when you look online, when you look on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, people are doing all of these various thrift hauls. Thank you, Anitra, Randy Wee. Thank you. When we talk about thrifting, most of the times you're seeing, you think you have enough space for your shoes. Actually, Pavel, I have stopped. What the thing is, because I'm running out of space, is if I buy something, I need to remove something. So the same thing with my clothes. If I purchase anything, then something has to leave. So because I'm not buying any more hangers, so that stops me from, I have to really, really want it, because something here has to go so that I don't, overconsume. But we're going to get into that a little bit. Pavel, I really love my shoes, and I am a person that wear them often. I wear the things I buy every day, but as I said, because I'm running out of space, I definitely don't, if I buy something, I have to get rid of something, because I don't like things on the floor. I like to see everything. So if you see it in here, it's because that's where it is. But I don't like, I can't afford to bring any more things in if I can't afford to put it away, right? All right. But today we're talking, that part of it is definitely part of the dark side of thrifting. I'm going to hit the one thing that I know a lot of people talk about if you are someone who thrift, and you've probably seen it, let me know in the comments, is that the number one thing for me with the dark side of thrifting these days is thriftflation is real. And what I mean by that is the prices are going up at our local Goodwill, Salvation Army, even those mom and pop thrift stores. The church thrift stores are starting to price things up. Like, hello. The reason, ma'am, I came here is because I don't want to pay money for things. Like, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I don't want to spend a lot of money on anything. And I've been thrifting for over 20 years. And so I do remember those days where I can walk in with $5 and come out with a bag of stuff. These days, those days are done now. Like some of these places are really feeling themselves. Like I couldn't even I went to get a book at Goodwill the other day and it was $6.99. And I was like, damn, Goodwill, these books are $9.99. They're $9.99. Why are you selling it for $6.99? Like it should be 50 cents for soft cover like you used to, $1 for hard. I'm gonna give it up to $2.50. Why are we paying $6.99 for a book? I don't have a Dollarama store, Pavel. I have what I've heard the name. That name sounds familiar, Dollarama, but I don't know what that is. But I don't have a Dollarama. We have Family Dollar and the 99-cent store, and even the 99-cent store is not 99 cents anymore. But going back to this thing is that Goodwill is definitely, like I keep calling Goodwill, but I think it's all thrift stores. Like all thrift stores have raised the prices on stuff. Now I'm going to give them some grace. The price overall everywhere has gone up on everything. So of course they're keeping up with inflation. So that's why I'm calling this thriftflation, because even the thrift stores their prices are going up. Now, recently I went to Goodwill. If you haven't checked out my recent video on my main channel, I would love for you to do that, because I am right now reviewing all the thrift stores in San Diego. And I just put up a review this morning on the H Street in Chula Vista. H Street in Chula Vista, that Goodwill there. And so I bring this story up because that's what led me to think about like the dark side of thrifting. I went in there looking for some gym bags. And I went to the section where they have the gym bags, and I was expecting to pay no more than $5. And true indeed, when I went in, I walked to the section and there was a lot of gym bags actually, and they were like $3.99, $4.99, $5.99. So as I'm looking through, I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's a good price. I think that's that will be at least 90% less than retail, right? Like that's what a thrift store is, 90% less than retail. Okay, so I'm going through it. I find a black bag that I liked, and I was like, okay, cool. This seems like exactly what I'm looking for. I open it up, I inspect it, it's clean. It actually looks a little brand new. And then I see a tag on it, and the tag had a Victoria's Secret name and tag there. And on the tag had the price that Victoria's Secret was selling it for, which was like $69. I think it was $69, which is like the MSRP or whatever it is, the original price that Victoria's Secret claimed that they sold it for. Then I looked at the Goodwill price and it said $19.99. And I was so annoyed. I just was like, now Goodwill, why are you doing this? Because if the person had donated, or if Goodwill had gotten that bag without the price tag, it would have been $3.99, $4.99, or $5.99. Let's be 100% real here. They would not have charged more, because one, it wasn't like an elite leather bag. It was a very nondescript Victoria's Secret. Like you would not have known it was Victoria's Secret had you not known there was a tag, and then of course inside the marker's tag. And it was $19.99. Like $19.99. Like why? Where? What? Like for me, that was just uncalled for. I was irked. It was uncalled for, because had they not had that tag on there, it absolutely would have been a regular price. And a regular price would have been from $3.99 to $5.99. Now, obviously, I'm in California, so prices are definitely going to be higher for me. But I feel like every time I talk about the prices going up on all my social media platforms, everyone talks like, yes, it's getting ridiculous now. It's getting to the point where it's like, come on, like, come on. Oh, they're not even trying to play that they're thrift prices anymore. I'm like, they're not even trying to play. Like, what's worse, I think, for people is the slap in the face. Like, when you go to some of the thrift stores and you would see that they had let's say, a Target brand shirt, and the brand would say, the Target price would say $12.99, and now in this thrift store it's $9.99. Because we all know that Target, when they do their discount, they would have brought that down to at least $3.99, $4.99. Why are you selling $9.99? You're not Target. You what? And for those who are going to come at me and talk about, well, they need to make a profit, they have a mission. Their profit margins should not be that of Target. If I was walking into a thrift store, I'm expecting thrift store pricing, not Target on a mild 10% sale day, because Target will do even better. So I'm trying to understand where these, I'm trying to understand the pricing schemes that's popping up now, and the understanding that we're going to try to make a profit like Target. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Target purchased their stuff. So the profit Target is trying to make is because they got to cover the revenue of which they have already expended in purchasing from the distributors and the various designers. What did Goodwill purchase? What did your mom and pop thrift store purchase? It was donated. It was donated. I get having to make a profit. I mean, this is America after all, so capitalism reigns supreme. But you're a thrift store. And so when you got stuff coming in for free, don't be greedy. I mean, just don't. Because you're still gonna sell the stuff. That for me is what I don't understand. So I'm trying to rack my head about it and not feel like, okay, it is what it is, but I'm also starting to feel like, are we getting ripped off at this point? Are we getting, is the frustration starting to be enough where I'm like, well, I might as well just wait for a nice 60%, 70% sale. H&M right now is having one of their 70% sale, and I swear I find things at the H&M mall, which this weekend, that were definitely cheaper than my local Goodwills and my local thrift stores. I mean, I'm not trying to come after Goodwill only. I'm talking about, this is all thrift stores, to be honest, because as I mentioned, when I talk about this on my social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, people from all over the country, everywhere, are talking about like how these prices are starting to become a little like they're watching them side eye. Like, thrift stores are going to they're going to market themselves out of business if they don't realize their mission. And their mission should be, the prices are going to be way down, way down. Okay. But let me know, am I being too petty here? Let me know in the comments if you are seeing the same kind of pricing, thriftflation, as we're calling it. Are you seeing that where you are? And is that something that's you're watching and you're like, this ain't it, boo. This ain't it. Because if you want people to come and donate for free, right? Like, you're getting free donations, and then you're turning around and trying to profit like you are somebody's, Target brand or, Zara brand and stuff like that, then I think people are going to start waiting for the major sales from their favorite stores, where a lot of the times the prices feel like they're thrifted. Let me know in the comments if you're feeling me on that. Now, another downside that I've been thinking about with thrifting and that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is that the quality of the stuff isn't what it used to be. You can go into a thrift store now and you have to really be in there for a bit, pushing aside them Sheins, the Zara's, the cheaper Zara pieces, the Target, the Walmart pieces, before you lock up on something that's quality, will last long, and, look amazing and luxe. Because fast fashion, when people are buying a lot of fast fashion and they got to keep recycling their wardrobe, where do you think most of the stuff is going? It hits the thrift store. And these thrift stores don't realize, like, overpricing Zara, not all Zara is the same. Like, not all Zara pieces are the same. I mean, I love me some Zara, but there are definitely times where I'm like, damn, Zara, like, you could have tried. You could have tried to find fabric that wasn't like, if I put this in the machine, it will disintegrate. The Forever 21s, like all of those things, those fast fashion where clothes is just probably meant to look good on you for maybe one or two wear, and then after that it doesn't look good, it's not fitting, and you're sending it to the thrift store. And now we're talking about going in there and having all of that plus to go through before you find some good quality made pieces, some good vintage unique pieces. It is definitely, you definitely have to look through it. Jive AT5, yes, silk is absolutely a good fabric. I actually did a video talking about one of the way I'm able to go into a thrift store and kind of find the things that I want to find, and fabric being the number one thing on my method. I call it the flare method, but fabric being the number one thing that I need to look at, so that when I go into a thrift store, I know exactly what I'm looking for. And silk, 100% cotton, linen, wool, those fabric that will hold up, because buying 100% polyester, which a lot of the fast fashion industry pushes out, is just, it's simply going to you're going to see two things. One, you're going to see that it just does not look luxe. It doesn't. Like, nothing you do, it just, you have to do a lot more. Terry cloth is a very good one. But if you are definitely looking these days in the thrift stores, one of the things that I don't think people talk about is that it is, a lot of the racks have a lot of the fast fashion, that Shein stuff, and so you spot it across the aisle, it looks beautiful, and then you go up and then you realize, like, this is not going to stand up in the washer and dryer. It just won't. And so why even bother? But now, 10 years ago, I could go in and there would be tons of great vintage, good quality pieces, with fabric that pieces that I still have, because the fabric is amazing, how it's made is amazing, the structure is amazing, it looks great. You got to go through a lot more these days. So thrifting for me, only because I've been doing it forever, I can spot it quickly. But if you're new to the thrift game, and you don't know what you're looking for in the beginning, you will feel like you're banging your head against something, because you have to go through a lot of garbage to find those priceless items. Jive 80 at 5. Jive at 5 says, I never buy polyester. I mean, if that's that's a good rule to have. It will, your outfits, your clothes, your closet will just, they will thank you when you're not blending those stupid polyester pieces. I don't have such a strict rule, But I tend to make sure that the pieces I'm looking at definitely have good fabric. And if I am going to get a polyester piece that, you just know, like, hey, this may not last. It may not last. But understanding fabrics and cuts matter more now than ever, because if you're grabbing things without understanding how what type of fabric you're buying, and what type of cut it is and how it's going to drape on you, then you get home and then you don't know, like, why does this fit like this? Why isn't just it's just not coming together? And I would say that is part of the dark side of thrifting, is that all these pieces, these fast fashion pieces that are not quality, are bombarding these thrift stores, and now you're in there longer because you got to search through to find a couple of gems. And so I don't think people talk about that. I think people, glorify being able to go thrifting and you have a basket full of all these things, and you can. One is, how long did it take you to get those things in that shopping event? But two, are the things quality, or are you just picking up, like, it's, for me, thrifting has to be today quality over quantity. I don't need to go out and do a haul every time I go thrifting. I don't need to go out and have 1,000 pieces to show that I did a great, today was a good thrift day. But if I can show you 2 or 3 beautifully made quality pieces at a good price, then to me, that's what thrifting has come down to. It's definitely quality over quantity. Cannot be anymore, because of all the other pieces that are flooding our thrift stores these days. Let me know if that resonates with you, and if you have found that when you're thrifting now, like, wow, you have to push that rack a little more and you're pulling pieces, but the pieces are not that quality pieces that you're used to when you were thrifting, maybe even 2, 3 years ago. Um, Another one that I want to talk about is that um, the the fact is that for a lot of people, thrifting has become a, a means to overconsumption. Right now, don't look at my closet. As I mentioned before, I love me some fashion. That's my thing. Okay, I don't spend money on a lot of things in life. I love me some fashion. However, even I know when my limit is. My limit right now is I cannot purchase any more things unless I'm willing to give up something. I'm not buying any more hangers. I'm not going to add any more space to this closet for my shoes. So, with that said, because of that, I am very, very intentional of the pieces I'm bringing home, because I know when I get here, I have to hang it, and there are no hangers left to hang. And so something has to go. So I'm very intentional about that. And if you looked at one of my lives maybe 2 weekends ago, I did a live to show you that I'm for real. I am definitely for real. I pulled about 30 pieces because I needed to hang up the pieces that I had gotten in Japan, which all my pieces that I got in Japan, except for 1 or 2, were thrifted. And so when I had to pull these pieces, there's definitely a moment where you're like, oh my God, I don't want to say goodbye. But I have no hangers, and you can't keep the things on the floor, and you can't keep them in bags. I absolutely refuse to shop, not to shop, but to dress where I have to pull things from below, meaning the floor, a bag, or the couch or the chair. So for me, it's just a matter of, like, something's got to go. Some things just had to go. So I packed up a bunch of things so I can enjoy the new things. But I have seen I have definitely seen people where they're just shopping. Remember that quantity thing? They become addicted to the price. And now I know we talked about how prices are going up. They haven't gone to the point yet, obviously, where people have stopped thrifting, but they're going up. And people, you know, I've seen on social media where people's home, where the clothes has taken over. It's taken over the various rooms. It's taken over closets. It's now in the living room. It's in their trunks. It's everywhere. And so that overconsumption is like where they just keep thrifting and thrifting and thrifting because they believe like, okay, the price, where am I going to get this at this price? So therefore they're going to get it. And they're not even thinking like, okay, I remember I saw a woman talking about this. So she's in my Facebook group, Thrifting Divas, and she mentioned like, oh my gosh, I definitely have a problem now because she went out to one of her local, I think it was Salvation Army, and she was thrifting there and she found the most gorgeous pair of shoes. And so she's looking at the shoes and she's like, she actually put a picture of the shoes in the Facebook group. And so a lot of times when people are thrifting, they want the opinion of another thrift sister. So they would put it in yay or nay, which is a cute game that we play in the group just to, you know, what people thinking sometimes. And normally you will put a picture of what it is, the price, and the location. And so she put the picture of the shoes in there, and everyone, these shoes were to die for. I think they were a pair of Gucci shoes, actually. They were a pair of Gucci shoes. So very high-end designer. And it was at the Salvation Army. It appeared to be absolutely real, but it appeared that the Salvation Army had not noticed that is such a high-end designer and priced it like all their other shoes, and it was $9.99. And so she's like, oh my gosh, these are gorgeous. We are all in the comments like envying her, like, oh my gosh, that's a great steal. $9.99 for some real Gucci. That is, love it, love it, love it. And so she's, you know, we're all saying yes. I think within like 3 to 4 minutes of her posting it, she had about 100 yeses on this thing. And so she's like, absolutely. Everyone is saying, you got to go with those. Those are beautiful. They were beautiful. So she purchases the shoes and leaves. About a week later, she comes back into the group. And that's when she says, guys, I definitely have a problem. Thank you for your comments on the Gucci shoes. And we're like, oh no, what's the problem? She's like, those shoes will never fit me. They're too small. And we all are like, wait, the thought that you were going to purchase shoes that would not even fit you did not cross our minds. Like, it would be one thing if she said, I'm purchasing these to resell, to give away, to give as a gift to my girlfriends, whatever, right? Like, all of those things are absolutely okay. No one would have blinked an eye. But when she said they will never fit her, and now she's just, you know, they're there in her closet taking up space, I almost like, I was like, what? That's the dark side of thrifting. Because you find things that just, it is an amazing price, $9.99. And if she was trying to flip it, resell it, or something like that, got it. Easy day. I got it. But the fact that she knew, like, it was a pair of shoes that will not ever fit her, right? Like, this is not like I'm going to lose some weight or, you know, in a few years, I may let myself go, whatever it is, and these things will fit. These things were never, ever going to fit her. And yet, indeed, she purchased and brought them home to put in a closet that was already full, that will never see the light of day on her feet. That to me is the epitome of the dark side of thrifting. And let me know if you've ever come across a story like that, because for me, that's kind of where it ends. You know, that's kind of part of the issues that we have with thrifting, is that when we think that we have to buy just because it's cute, the price looks good, you know, knowing that we're not going to wear it, we don't know how to wear it, or it will not fit us. I could not believe that. And so that overconsumption can really eat you up. And I've struggled with that at times, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta thrift, I gotta thrift, I gotta thrift, because you never know, right? One of the things, it's a double-edged sword, because one of the things they will tell you, if you want to get better at thrifting, you gotta go often. You gotta go more. You gotta be there when they turn over items. You just have to thrift more. It's a tip that really does work. Like, if you want to score more things at thrifting, then you got to go thrifting more. However, if you don't watch it, then you become that person that's just buying to buy without really having a need. And most of the time, we have no need for most of these things, but not, at least not buying things that will never fit you should be the number one rule. And so for me, that is one of the dark side of thrifting, to see people kind of, start that hoarding mentality of, I'm just buying to buy. And these are not people who are reselling. These are, that's a different discussion. These are people who are not reselling. They're people who are not buying for other people. They're just buying for themselves, but they're not wearing it. And so for me, that could become, actually, I find it to be almost a mental disease to some degree. I mean, we know hoarding is in general a mental disease, but that over thrifting can become and lead, to me, it's a gateway pill. It's a slippery slide into that hoarding mentality, where you're just buying things even though you're not using it. It can't fit you, and you won't release it. And the same thing with buying clothes, like if you're thrifting clothes that don't fit, because either I'm going to gain weight, I'm going to gain weight one day so it will fit, or more times we'll see people buying things that are too small, don't fit them, thinking that they'll lose weight. I'm not buying anything that doesn't fit me today. It's not going to work that way. It has to fit today. If it doesn't fit today, I'm not buying it. Like, that has always been my thing. Like, I'm not going to wait to lose weight. It's not going to be my, the piece that makes me lose weight kind of thing that a lot of people do. So for me, I've fortunately been able to steer clear of the hoarding, and try not to over purchase. And my solid rule of not buying hangers has definitely helped me out throughout the years, because I need to hang my stuff up, like, period. Like, I'm not, as I said, I'm not reaching down for clothes. I'm not going through any boxes, trunks. All my clothes is shown at all time. And, like, as you can see, right, like, to the back are my dresses. Right here is my shirts and my top, my bottoms, and I have to see everything, or else I won't wear them. But if I am, at a point where I feel like, okay, I have enough, I just don't go thrifting. Like, that, for me, it's like, because every time I bring something home, I got to get rid of something. Like, guys, that is the amount of, that's a lot of, which one got to go. And I don't want to have to put myself through that every weekend. So I'll just stop thrifting for a few months and things like that. And besides, as you see, I have a lot that can get me through whatever season it is I need. So I don't necessarily need to go out and buy stuff. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the things that we don't talk about with the dark side of thrifting. And one of the things that I want to talk about is just the time and energy drain at this point. And I think we mentioned that a little bit when we talked about the fact that fast fashion is in being thrown into the mix. So now you are competing with all the racks and racks of fast fashion that you may not like. Zavu, those are my shoes. This is my I'm in my closet right now. This is my closet. And that I keep my shoes in a IKEA bookcase. Let me know if you want me to do a full tour of the closet. But going back to this discussion about things that the dark side of thrifting is just because you have to compete with all of the fast fashion in there, it does take a longer time to thrift these days. Like, you really have Zavu, you wear the shoes. You absolutely wear the shoes. That's what we do with all the shoes. Every time you go out, you put on a pair of shoes and you wear them. I tend to wear a lot of the things that buy because, one, I thrift because I love fashion. I love being able to dress up. I love how clothes make me feel. I love how dressing up makes me feel more confident. I love it. And so for me, I am a person that when you see me on a daily basis, I wear a different outfit. I wear different shoes, different bags. That's just me. Yeah, but like two, three, you got a pair for each day. Yes, that is kind of how it works. Pair. And I don't really I wear a lot of the pieces often enough, but I love going out and dressing up. So for me, wearing these things brings me joy. As long as you don't bother anyone, you can do whatever. I am not bothering anyone. I promise you. In fact, I try to help women feel more confident in themselves by dressing up and using whatever they have in their closet to present themselves to the world. Dressing up just makes me feel more confident. It makes me feel like I'm ready to take on the world. And so each morning, it's another opportunity to reinvent myself to the world and come out looking fly, fly, fly. So for me, that's always been how I am. And that's why thrifting has helped with that, because I don't have to pay a lot of money for my fashion addiction. But on the flip side, that's why we were talking about that, the dark side of thrifting. You know, we just have to talk about, there are some things that we should be really concerned about and or aware of if we really are going to be, hardcore thrifters, because it's not all about the quantity of things. It's not all about collecting. It's not all about hauls. It's about being intentional with the things that we're buying. And that being intentional means you wear the things, right? Like, you're not just keeping them in a closet to look pretty, but that you're wearing them so that there is an emotional investment in what you're buying and then what you're using it for. Because if I buy them and it's just sitting there, then it's kind of a waste of money, honestly. Well, yes, it is a waste of money if you're not using them and enjoying it. But if you are enjoying it, and as you said, Zavu, if no, you're not bothering people, then it's a little extra sparkle in this world, where you're not dipping into your savings and you're not dipping into the money that should be going to better things in your life to have a better quality of life. And so for me, thrifting has always given me that opportunity to still show up how I want to, but realize that, listen, girl, you got a mortgage, you got kids, you got vacations, we got things we want to do in life. And so absolutely, make sure that your budget is right first before you invest in other things. I'm not even going to dare ask you to show us your clothes. It's right here with me. So that's my dresses are in the back. I have a small closet back there with my blazers and stuff like that. Clothes is, yeah. But this is my little haven. I come in here, it's my office and my closet, and I love it. And I love showing women that, listen, you don't have to have a lot to do amazing things with your wardrobe. You just have to have the right pieces. And thrifting the right pieces, you're going to feel like, wait, I thrifted all of these things. I thrifted all these things. I am able to do what I need to do, and enjoy life and still feel like I can show out, you know? I love colorful pieces. I am from the Caribbean, and so maybe that's why, but I love color. Color is my thing. And I mean, I have some black pieces in there, but color is definitely what makes me bring joy to the world. And so for me, that's one of the things. Thrifting allows you to do that too, because if I were to try to repurchase all these things retail, like it would be a significant amount of money that I would have to spend. Um, but it is definitely allowed me to be able to, create a wardrobe that is just luxe, right fabric, right feel, everything about it. Um, right. The dressing, no, I will never be considered boring with my dressing style. It's about, just showing up in your most, you know, just showing up. And so for some people, maybe neutrals is showing up. I am just not one of those people. Obviously, I wear neutrals at times, but I can't. My wardrobe, my clothes, you see, it's colorful, it's bright, and that's who I am. And so, why I can't knock thrifting all the way, because thrifting allowed me to do this. I have to be, like this video is saying, you have to be careful. Like, you have to be careful that you don't, the overconsumption can really, for some people, get out of hand, where you look at people's closet and it's absolutely messy, junky. There, you can't fit one more thing in there, and they keep buying and they keep buying and buying and buying. Closets are breaking down, all those different things. To me, those are not worth it. Like, that's not joy. I want to be able to walk in and just, okay, what do I want to wear today, and just pick something out very nicely and walk around, grab my heels, and then go to this side is where I keep my purses, go grab a purse and get out of there. And so for me, dressing is super quick. 10-15 minutes, I'm in and out because I see everything I have, and then I can get out of there. Damn, I'm a straight dude talking with a woman about it's all good. My husband has just as much, he loves fashion as well, and he does that. Yes, those are my sneakers. So in the summer, I bring out the sneakers a little closer to the bottom because it's a quick way of getting dressed in the morning. I can grab the sneakers with my dresses and just leave. And then in the fall, I live in San Diego, so in the fall I put those away and I pull down the boots. And when they're not being used, at the top is where I would put the boots and the sneakers up there when they're not being used. If you want to buy a house, just sell a few dresses and shoes. I'll need a lot more than that, but definitely, definitely some of those pieces that I love. I got a lot of my sneakers from Japan, so I really love those things because they're, pieces that you get when people go thrifting. You get, I'm not thrifting, go travel. They talk about getting a magnet. I love getting clothes, and I thrift my clothes from different countries. So wherever I go, whenever I travel, I find thrift stores where people are trying to get like luxury pieces. I am looking up their closest thrift store to thrift because the beautiful things that they have in different countries is just amazing. Prices could be sometimes, but how many times can you say, well, when someone asks you, oh, where'd you get that? You can say, I got it in, Portugal, which, by the way, is actually where I got this ring at a flea market for €2 in Portugal. So, there's the good parts about it. Good talking to you. I'm gonna hop out, otherwise Didi gonna start looking. All good. It's all good. Thanks for jumping on. But no, as we were saying, like, there are definitely some good parts of thrifting. This is not to scare you away from thrifting. I want to say that there's a dark side that no one really talks about, and that we just have to be mindful of it so that we don't slip into it, right? Overconsumption. I think the overpricing is not our fault, but thrift stores, if you're listening, know that people are watching, watching how you're pricing these things, and that it's starting to come to the point where you're going to start seeing less and less people there. Like when I go in now with a strict budget, like that 1999 Victoria's Secret bag, which I absolutely would never pay for like that. I'm just not going to purchase it. I'm just going to wait for it. So for me, my budget, if it's $20, then obviously I'm not going to purchase something like that because I could get other things for $20. But for those who are getting into thrifting for the first time now, and my son is starting to get into thrifting, I have to talk to him and say, hey, you got to be careful about, don't just spend the money without realizing whether or not it's a deal you're getting or not. Because just because it's in the thrift store doesn't mean at this time that you're getting a good price. Sometimes you might as well wait and spend 10 extra dollars and get it brand new from the retail store. So these are definitely things that we are talking about when it comes to thrifting. Last thing I want to talk about is just like closet clutter from these impulse thrift buys, which I think we talked about a little bit. Is I've seen a lot of people's closet, and I know I have a beautiful closet. I have a room that I turned turned into a closet because I'm fortunate enough to have that. But even before I moved into this house, I didn't have a room that I didn't have a big room that I could turn into a closet. So my closet needed to be, it needed to look still amazing, right? Like our closets need to still look like when you walk into it or open the doors, you can see what you have, you can pull out what you have, and then you can wear what you have. But with these impulse buys from thrift stores where you're just buying stuff, like this woman buying a Gucci shoes that she could never, ever, ever, ever wear because the price was right, that's causing closet chaos. And now she is taking up real estate in a closet for something that she can't wear, and then for against the things that she could purchase that she could wear. And so when people, it's like, oh my God, I wish I had your closet. Well, everyone could have something beautiful. It's what do you have in your closet right now, and does it lend to the chaos of an unorganized, overstuffed, and not organized closet? Because if you have too much stuff in your closet, it's really time to take an inventory. Do you need all these things anymore? Do you wear these things? Should you be wearing these things? Do you need to give it away? Do you need to purge? Those are the things that you should be talking about before going out and thrifting anymore. And so for people who, are continually thrifting and have nowhere to put the stuff, you know, this is the time when you might be like, okay, I need to stop. Because as I said, I am no longer purchasing any hangers. Like I've run out of my space. And so for me, if I purchase something, something has to go. And maybe you can adopt the same mentality. No more. I'm not picking up stuff off the floor. I'm not looking at the top, and trying to pull down about 15 things to get one thing. Let's determine whether the things that you have are the things that fit your lifestyle right now, fit what you are, the woman you're turning into, or the woman you are today. Or do you have things that you've not seen in 10, 15 years and you're just holding on to it because it brings back that memory of when you had it back then? I am not necessarily a very, I forgot the word, my husband says it all the time, but I don't really necessarily need to hold on to things to drive my memory. So yes, some of the pieces it's hard to let go, but Sentimental. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm not necessarily a very sentimental person. I feel like my memories are all in my head. I close my eyes and I bring up the memory of what I am thinking, feeling, remembering. I like pictures. Pictures are the one thing that I hold on to. But clothes and pieces and those things doesn't really do much for me. So when it's time to go, yes, I'm going to miss you, but that only means I get to put beautiful things in your place. Like, I'm never going to replace you with something ugly. So time to go. And for me, that is one of the reasons I think I've been able not to go overboard, because I am able to stop and say, all right, well, it's time to go because I got something nice now. I try to wear everything, at least once or twice. I definitely repeat outfits a lot, but I try to wear them before I would even say, okay, it's time to go. I try to make sure that pieces that I bring in fit me well in that moment. I'm not buying things to fit in 2-3 months if I lose weight and, all of that. I'm not playing those games. We'll come back around and we'll find something. Because one thing I honestly believe is that it may not, you'll find, if you're just a thrifter, you'll always find beautiful things. And so I don't feel that emotional tug and pull in releasing, because I always know that something else is going to come along. And when that comes along, baby, it's going to be even like, oh, who that? So for me, that's part of this process. Like, that's part of this process. But I have seen lots of closets, because I do help women organize in closets, and I've seen a lot of closets where, girl, why do you have this? And why can't you let it go? Because it's not doing anything for you. It brings you no joy. You don't use it. You don't wear it. You don't care for it like that. But yet, when it's time to put it in the bin, you're like, well, maybe I could wear. Girl, you haven't worn this thing in 10 years. Stop. Stop. There are going to be other white shirts that come along. There are going to be other white pants. There are going to be other this, other. There's going to be so many other to come along that there's no need for you to hold on to these things. So while I am a fervent believer that we should not overspend on fashion, like, thrifting should be your go-to. Thrifting should be your number one. Thrifting should be your number 1, 2, and 3. I understand there's definitely a moment and pause that we must take when we've gone too far when it comes to thrifting. And I just don't believe a lot of people are talking about that. I think people talk mostly about the hauls, like, look what I got, look what I got. And I normally watch those hauls too. I love a haul. I love seeing what other people got. It brings me joy too. I mean, I don't have to put it in my closet, but it brings me joy to see when people are excited about some pieces they found. And I'm excited about how they're going to style it. And I'm excited about what else this store has. But at the same time, make sure you have a place to put those things. Make sure you ready to not have a closet that look like, girl, what's under those clothes, Because it's not cute. I mean, that closet clutter is not cute. And I've gone through that stage where I'm like looking through things and I know I bought something and I can't find it. And it's just not cute. It's not cute. And I'm not, I can't do it. I cannot do it. So while cheap might be exactly, a cheap price, just remember it might be an expensive price at the end of the day if your closet continues to be downgraded. A lot of times women talk about hearing something crash in the middle of the night and their closet came down. When you're putting that back up, I am absolutely hoping you are searching through and actually determining whether or not the pieces that you're putting back up in there are things that you need. Well, not need, but the things that you're going to wear, things that you still find value, still find joy in today. Because if you find no joy in it today, waiting for the next 10 years to find joy in it is just not a smart move. So there is my TED Talk. Okay. Thank thank you for coming. But let me know in the comments if any of this resonated with you. If you do find a dark side to thrifting as well, even if you are a fervent and avid thrifter, but realize like, and let me know, be transparent. Are you one of those who have fallen for some of these things that we talked about? I definitely have fallen for all of them. I'm glad that I was able to, quickly get back up and realize like, okay, here's the limits. Here are the limits. Here's the budget, here's the uses, and so when you look at here, look at this closet and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I have it under control, understand? And so I think every one of us should understand that we all are in different phases, right? Every single woman, we're all in different phases. Dubai Silk Route says some of us are still going through it. I get it. I absolutely understand that. And no shade, no disrespect, and absolutely no judgment, because I've been there. I've absolutely been there where you have to take accountability a little bit and say, okay, enough. But I think it's an easy way. I think it's definitely an easy way to stop. I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, I'm not shopping. Give yourself that time out kind of thing, and say, okay, no shop summer, or no shop August, or no shop winter, whatever it is. So that you can get a control of it, because it could get out of hand real quick. It could definitely get out of hand really, really quickly. And no woman wants to feel like their clothes and shoes and all of those things are, it's, not bringing them joy. Like, that's the last thing we need. We have enough of life dealing with us, those annoyances. Let's not have that be our clothes and shoes and the cute things that bring us joy. So hopefully this have given you something to think about a little bit. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. We talk about a luxe lifestyle on a budget, and how we can include fashion without overspending, and spending just the right amount, so that we can look amazing, feel amazing, show up amazing. You know, I've been trying to do this, put this channel together for the last few years, and I feel like I've been called to do this now. I love talking about these things. Hi, Nisi, the Budgetnista. Thanks for jumping on. I love talking about these things, and I love showing women just how they can do this in their everyday life. Like, it doesn't always have to be about spending money, and that luxury in of itself is something that it doesn't have to be about money. And I mean, I grew up very, very poor, and I realized that I felt still very, for a lot of things, I felt like I was living a very luxe life. Even when I look back at it and realize, like, girl, damn, you're on the struggle bus. But you know what? It's a mindset for most of it. And, unfortunately, social media has definitely given us this impression that, we got to be on first class airlines, we got to be taking trips to Bali, we got to be going, getting the Gucci, the Louis, the Kelly bag. We have to be eating at the 5-star restaurants. We got to be Listen, love it if it is happening for you. Absolutely love it. I'm a girl's girl all the way through. Invite me. Love it if it's happening for you. But if it's not, like me, it's not happening for me like that. Just the things in life that still make me feel as though I am A-okay doesn't even come 90% from money and the amount that I can put out there. And so on this channel, I definitely want to continue to show women that this part, especially women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, that we are at a different level in our life where we have to understand that that luxe lifestyle comes through so many other things: a mindset shift, an ability to walk in your house, in your closet, and pick out an outfit. That's luxury. Intentionality is luxury. Being able to do something for yourself that day that does not require another individual saying yes or no is luxury. Being able to show up for you is luxury. And it took me a while to get to that level of thinking that it doesn't require money. It doesn't sometimes even require another individual. That's luxury. And so for me, I just feel at peace. I feel, I don't know how to explain it, but it's, skincare. Being able to not wear makeup when I go on a live like this, like turn on my computer, my camera, my phone, and say, okay, I'm going to talk about this because I'm in the mood to talk about this. That's luxury. Not having to put on a full beat because I don't feel like it. I don't know how to anyway, but you know what I mean. That's luxury. And so I'm hoping that this message gets to the right individual, that woman who's just sitting there and who's thinking about, like, okay, the bills, the this, the that, and haven't done anything for themselves in ages because they're looking out for everyone. They're looking out for the mom, their dad, their sick grandpa, their sick grandma, their kids, the husband, everybody but themselves. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it's certainly, I'm telling you, I promise you, it does not take a lot of money, and it sometimes takes no money. But understanding that mind shift is so important, because even when I turn on Instagram after this and I just scroll for a few minutes, I'm going to see because of course my feed is going to be littered with the things that I'm interested in. And right now I'm looking to redo my backyard. So I'm going to see these sprawling, massive homes with pools and all these things, because that's the social media algorithm is going to tell me that is what luxury is going to look like for me. And I'm telling them, boo, I don't have the money for that like that. But I'm going to make a space in my backyard that when I walk out in there, I'm going to feel like I hit the jackpot. I am going to feel at peace. I am going to feel like I can go out there and enjoy the time with friends, with family, or by myself, and feel like this is luxury. So if you're all about that type of journey, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel as I go through the various parts of our lifestyle that we as women in our 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s are embracing. And if you're not there yet, that I help you embrace that aspect, that luxury does not have to be the defined money, capitalistic, greedy, overconsumption aspect that we are fed daily. And I say fed daily because if you have an Instagram, if you have a TikTok, if you have Facebook, that's what people put out on, what was your weekend like? Like my weekend was some DIY, and looking up recipes for the week for salad preps. Luxury, baby. I'm bringing Italy into my home and the Mediterranean into my home, all from a trip to the farmer's market. Well, enough of me on my little high horse. I'm going to jump down, go get some dinner. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful time. And if this is something that you want to hear more of, then go ahead and subscribe. If not, thank you for at least sticking around and listening to the dark side of thrifting that no one is talking about. Hit the like. And if you are subscribed, you hit the notification, you'll know when I go live. I'm trying to build my channel, so the goal is to try to go live every day for the next 30 days. It is very hard. It is very, I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard because sometimes you're really talking and there's 0 people watching, but it's okay. We are there to get the word out and the message out, and I hope this message was on time for someone. Okay? Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day. And as I always say, stay luxe. Bye.